What is going on, YouTube? John the Laser Blue Junkie coming back at you again for the first time in 4 years with an actual video. We are going to be talking about the new King of the Hill revival that has just aired on Hulu/Disney Plus. I have watched all 10 episodes, and I'm here to give you my opinion on it. Without going too much into spoiler territory, I will say this. The new revival is a 9 out of 10. I had some issues with it, not too many issues, but some. They are very minor, but they still dock the show a point. For the most part, this is a revival done the right way. There is no other revival that I can think of that did it this perfectly. Like, it is just a damn near pitch perfect revival. Storytelling-wise, I'm saying this from a storytelling standpoint. Storytelling-wise, they have expanded on how the show ended. Every character gets just they're just due. I love that. Like, I wish other revivals could have been this, paid this much attention to detail as this one did. I absolutely loved all 10 episodes, or I should say this, I loved 9 episodes. I only liked one of them, and I think it was either episode 3 or 4. It just had a couple of problems. That aside, great revival. I recommend everybody check it out. Please do. You will have a great time. I honestly hope we get another season. I really do. No, the good thing is it doesn't end on a cliffhanger. It's very self-contained. It does not end on a cliffhanger. It just ends on a happy note. The last episode, it's pretty crazy. Don't get me wrong. The last episode's crazy, but it ends on a good note. And it leaves the door slightly open for another season that I honestly hope we get, because there are so many things they touch upon in this season that could carry over to the new season. So we'll get to that in a minute. So, like I said, overall thoughts, great show. Love what they did. So now we're going to get into spoilers. I'm not going to go into a deep synopsis of every episode. Most of you people that watch this review, you're going to watch this thing. Okay, you're going to see this as soon as you can. I was just one of them crazy fanatics who decided, hey, as soon as it was, 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, I was going to pop on Hulu or Disney Plus and just watch all 10 episodes before I go to bed. And I watched them all, and I loved it. But like I said, most of you are not going to be seeing this, the night of. You're going to watch it a couple of days later. But if you decide to watch this video, great. You get to hear my thoughts. You get to hear what I think of it. So before I get into the spoilers, let's just get into, simple synopsis, like we say. Hank and Peggy have just come back from Saudi Arabia. Hank was an assistant manager of an oil company for the last 8 years. He spent all his time in Saudi Arabia. Bobby, now this one I wish they would have touched on more. Bobby is just like, Bobby all of a sudden is a chef of a major restaurant. I wish they would have touched a little more. It's like, oh my, where did Bobby stay those last couple of years? They don't touch on that. They need to touch on that more if we get another season. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. Bobby is now a successful chef. He works in an Asian fusion restaurant, where he serves German and Japanese cuisine. Hank and Peggy are back from Saudi Arabia, and they're just trying to acclimate to the new life in Arlen. Like, 8 years away from Arlen, it's changed. Everything's changed, But, most people are going to wonder, did this show go woke? And again, I got nothing against wokeness, okay? I get it. It's 2025. Shit's gonna be different than it was 20 years ago. All right? I get it. I'm not gonna be one of those people who's gonna bash the wokeness, okay? I'm happy to report the show goes a little woke, but not in a bad way. I can deal with what they went with, okay? I'm gonna let you guys figure that one out for yourselves. That's your thing to figure out. I have a very minor problem with it, but it's okay. I can live. That aside, I've already talked about that. That aside, I keep saying that word. It was just great. Like, what they did, how they've expanded on the characters. It's just, I absolutely loved it. The last episode, I was in tears. Like not crying, but just not knows. Oh my god, it's so funny. I was in happy tears. Like these were the way they ended this revival was great. It leaves the door open for another season. Let's keep it going. So now we're going to get into spoiler territory. 5 minutes, 20 seconds. There we go. Here's where we get into spoiler territory. All right. Johnny Hardwick, who did pass away, he recorded X amount of his lines. You can tell where Toby Huss took over. Toby Huss does a good imitation of Johnny Hardwick, but you can tell where they change it. But I'm going to give that a pass. I don't care. I'm glad they kept Dale in. John Redcorn, Jonathan Joss, unfortunately, he passed away a couple of months ago, and he finished everything, but it's going to suck if Jonathan Joss, or I should say John Redcorn, doesn't come back because he was a big part of it. It was really good how he was a part of it. And then you see this one scene where, you see Joseph and John, riding in the sunset with a horse. That was a dream sequence. There was, none of that was like, oh yeah, they're doing this. John, Joseph finally knows that John Redcorn's his dad. No, Joseph is still of the mind that Dale is his dad. And on top of it, there was a great scene. Okay, this is where Hulu and Disney fucked with you hard, and I loved it. The poster that came out, like if you're following me on Facebook, they came up with this poster of Dale, having a vape. Like I vape myself. I'm a vapor. Okay, I quit smoking 7.5 years ago. Okay, they're in the poster. They showed Dale having a vape. Not in this show. Dale is smoking cigarettes, and on top of that, he shares a cigarette with Joseph. That killed me. Like I almost died. Okay, like I'm telling you guys, my mother was a cigarette smoker. Not once did I ever share a cigarette with my mom. Okay, like my mom looked at me. When my mom saw me smoking a cigarette, she couldn't be in the same room with me. Okay, my mom absolutely hated the fact that I smoked. Okay, but then it's the weird thing. It's like monkey see, monkey do. It's like, do you expect me not to smoke cigarettes because I didn't see you do it for all the years of my life? It's one of those things. It was just the weirdest thing watching Dale and Joseph smoke a cigarette together while plotting out something that came out in one of the later episodes. It was hilarious. It killed me. I loved it. The only weak point in the show, and I may have said this, I may have not, it was either episode 3 or 4. That was probably the only thing holding it back from greatness. It was the most mid episode of the season. It was just, if I say woke, I don't want to say woke. It was just one of them stupid ass episodes where a white man can't run an Asian fusion restaurant without getting bashed by a bullshit community that says white people can't run that. You're misappropriating Asian culture. Luckily, the episode had a happy ending. A white man can make Asian food, regardless of what anyone else can say. That's the point of the episode. I'm not saying that. That's the point of the episode. Moving on, as we speak. Nobody in this episode skips a damn, or nobody in the show, I should say, skips a damn beat. Like, Mike Judge, Kathy Najimy, Pamela Adlon, Toby Huss, Stephen Root. They all just drop into their characters like it's like it was 15 years ago. It's like 15 years have passed and these characters just are the same people. The problem is like the whole Toby Huss, Johnny Hardwick thing. Dale is the hard swallow. Dale is the really hard swallow because you can tell where Johnny Hardwick recorded his lines and you can tell where Toby Huss recorded his lines, and they amalgamate it together, and some of it works, some of it doesn't. I'm giving it a pass because Dale is detrimental to the story. We need Dale, and Dale pops up. There are so many hilarious moments. Like, I honestly, there were like 2 or 3 scenes in this whole 10 episodes where I literally fell off my couch laughing my ass off. And the last like 3 or 4 seasons of King of the Hill couldn't do that. And this new revival actually made me laugh my ass off. Oh, and here's the big thing. Okay, this is the biggest thing of this revival. Okay, King of the Hill was always one of them shows where it was like there was no, if you had like maybe a 1 or 2 party, there was like a 1 or 2 act structure, but all of the episodes in the original run were self-contained. Okay, there was no story arc, so to speak. In this revival, you have to watch it from beginning to end. It's literally a story arc from episode 1 to episode 10. There is a story arc. You just can't jump in to episode 3. You need to see the other episodes that came before it. That I give it credit for. Thank you for giving us, a reason, like just not a show where you can just jump in and watch some BS episodes. Like, we actually have a story arc. King of the Hill never did that. Like, yes, we had 1 or 2 part episodes that had like a self-contained story arc. This new revival is a full story arc. I love that for that. If I could, like I said, I'm docking it for only a couple of reasons. Like I said, some of the spotty voice acting, I mean, like I said, Toby Huss, he tries his best to do Johnny Hardwick, but Toby Huss can't really do Johnny Hardwick. Yes, the show gets a little woke at times. Again, I don't want to bash the wokeness. It gets a little woke, just a little bit. But then they immediately get rid of the wokeness and they make a good joke about it. Point is, this new revival, it's a great revival, okay? If you have 4 hours to kill, I mean, maybe more or less, like maybe 3.5 hours to kill if you don't have Hulu ad supported like I do, you can binge through this pretty damn quick. And I did the same thing. Like, I live in Illinois, okay? This thing became available at 11 o'clock. And I knocked it out of the park by 3:30 in the morning. I had to have a few drinks and eat my dinner, but I still knocked it out of the park, got all 10 episodes out of the way. And they were 10 really good episodes. So I said minus episode 3, minus episode 4. That being said, thank you, Mike Judge. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's my thing to say is thank you, Mike Judge. Thank you. Thank you for rebooting this. Thank you for doing it right. Yes, you had to acclimate yourself to how things are these days. I get that. That's how you have to be. You can't do the old shit you did 29 years ago. You can't do that anymore. And when on top of that, the show actually has cursing in it, like actual cursing. Okay, yes, they bleep the F-bombs. Okay, but we actually get a few shit bombs after episode 6. That is. Before that, everything's censored and it's a little watershed. But the point is, they knew they were on Hulu. They decided it was a TV-14 rated show. They said, hey, guess what? We're on streaming. We can drop a couple of harsh swears that we couldn't do back when it aired on Fox. And they did it. And they did it to good effect. And I'm happy. The point is, they didn't overuse it. Okay? They didn't overuse it. And even when it became to the harsher language, they bleeped it, which is good for people, for kids who want to get into the show. Not that, and also, there are not too many kids that are going to get into this show. There are not. This revival was meant for us old people. I'm 43. I just turned 43. And I was a fan of this show when I turned 14, okay? So like I said, this was for us Zennials, okay? This was for us Generation Xers. This was for our millennials. I am a Zennial, and I hate that moniker, but I'm going to use it because I am a Zennial. Like, yes, by birth year, I'm a millennial, but I still have Gen X, thinkings in my brain. That aside, this show wasn't made for the new crowd, but at least Mike Judge knew to say, hey, if the new crowd's going to watch it, we're going to give some good stuff to the old crowd, but the new crowd can be cool with it, and the parents won't mind. Like my son, he couldn't even get through it. My son loves King of the Hill. I got through it before he did, and I'm proud of that, okay? My son tried keeping pace with me. He couldn't pull it off. He's got to go to work in a few hours. I don't. I got to take his ass to work, but I don't have to go to work, okay? All I'm trying to say is at the end of the day, if you're a King of the Hill fan, if you love King of the Hill, they did it right. They got it right. They did damn near every episode right. Pretty much, like I said, 90% of it was awesome. Like they did a good job. There were just a few things that, irked me. Like I said, it was mainly down to voice casting choices, mainly down to a few storyline choices that I didn't like. I'm not trying to go too deep into it. Like I said, I've made my spoilers known. Some of you may not agree or disagree. I don't care. What I'm trying to say is, if you are a King of the Hill fan, watch it. Have fun with it. You are going to get one of the best kicks out of it you've ever had in your life. I laughed my ass off more than once. I enjoyed the shit out of it. I am going to watch it again. I'm going to have a good time with it. Okay. I am just very happy that Mike Judge came back, did the impossible, and just 15 years later made a continuation to his story that is just as fresh, just as good as where he left it 15 years ago. And there are very few filmmakers, creators who can do something that good. And I applaud Mike Judge for what he did. As far as I'm concerned, that man has never made a bad TV show. He's never made a bad movie. Like, give me Office Space, Idiocracy, Extract. Those are three great movies. Okay? Beavis and Butthead. I grew up on it. I grew up on King of the Hill. Those are two great shows. As far as I'm concerned, that man can't do any wrong, and he's done right again. Please, Mike Judge, give us another season. Give us 2 more seasons. Please keep this story going. There is one more thing I am going to say, and it just hit me. If I haven't mentioned it already, this goes back into the I'm going to dock it a point kind of thing. Okay. Khan does show up in one episode. Okay, like Min Supernatural Phone, she shows up more often than not, mainly because the actress who played Min is of Asian descent, so they could utilize her a little more in the episodes. Same with Connie. Lauren Tom did the voice of Min and did the voice of Connie. So because an Asian American actress did those voices, they could utilize those characters more. The problem is Khan was an Asian character voiced by a white person. Same with Ted Wasanasan. Okay. Those characters were like I said, they were recast. Okay. Khan sounds abso-fucking-lutely nothing like he did in the original run. For those purposes of cultural appropriation, fine. I get it. And that's why Khan only pops up in one episode. Ted pops up in like 3. I'm going to say minimum 3, maximum 4. Ted Wasanasan pops up in a couple. Same exact thing. Ted sounds nothing like he did in the original run. Like he was one of those. He was just an Asian pretending to be a white person. It's, believe me, they changed the voice. Okay, different cast, different voice actor. Yeah, it sucks. Okay, it sucks. But it's one of those things that now in 2025, it's one of those things we have to put up with. It's like when you watch The Simpsons. Do you think that, Carl, any of the African American characters on the show, like Carl Carlson, Dr. Hibbert, do you think they're voiced by Harry Shearer, Hank Azaria anymore? No, they're not. Okay, King of the Hill had to do the same thing. They had to get actors that were of the descent to revoice those characters just for cultural appropriation. Yes, it sucks that those voices are different, but I get why they had to do what they did, and I'm not mad about it. Okay, I don't want to dock the score for that. I don't, but it's one of those things to where I'm more accepting of it. Other people may not be. Okay, other people may not be accepting of that fact. At the end of the day, though, I still enjoyed the shit out of it. So, if this video reaches anybody other than the few followers I have, if you catch this, if you enjoy King of the Hill, watch it, enjoy it, have a good time, revisit these characters we haven't seen in 15 years. These are old friends. These are old friends you haven't seen in a few years, and it's like, wow, they're like a nice warm blanket. You just don't forget about them. They bring it back. You enjoy the hell out of it. You have a good damn time. Please give us 1 or 2 more seasons, Mike Judge. I hope you do. Okay? Please drop a few more Easter eggs. That being said, this is John the Laser Blue Junkie signing off. I can't believe it's been 4 years since my last real video, but you know, this was something I wanted to talk about. I actually had a video planned on The Stuff. You know, The Stuff is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. I wish I could, turn my chair around and reach my stuff container, but I don't have it anywhere near me, and yeah, I wanted to talk about that, but I couldn't get around to it. But this one I felt the need to talk about, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad that people hopefully can see this, can really appreciate something that meant a lot to me, growing up when I was a kid. Okay, I saw Beavis and Butthead when I was 12. I saw, or 11 or 12, I should say. I saw King of the Hill when I was 14. The funny thing is my dad, who's been long gone, 9 years gone, he actually liked King of the Hill, He hated The Simpsons, but he loved King of the Hill. I'll never understand why. I never will understand, but I think he had a kinship with Hank Hill that I'll never understand, but good on my dad for that. But like I said, guys, please check this reboot out. It is nothing short of amazing. That's why I did this video. I just wanted to sing its praises. Like I said, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. The problems I had are literally negligible. They're just the problems of a fan who's seen, almost all 150 plus episodes before this reboot. Oh yeah, and one other thing. Spoiler. They do not allude to Lucky or Luann. Okay, they don't. Lucky and Luann are never mentioned in this reboot. However, episode 9, great GH episode, okay? Great episode with GH. They do some stuff with Cotton. They do some stuff with, what's her nuts? Whose name I can't even think of. Right? Dee Dee. Yeah, it's a great episode with freaking Cotton, Dee Dee, and GH. That's one of the best episodes of the show. Episode 9. Check it out. That is one of the best episodes. I loved it to death. Made me damn near cry. I loved it. So like I said, John the Laser Blue Junkie signing off for the first time in almost 4 years. Hopefully you catch this King of the Hill reboot. Hopefully I can get another video out there. Maybe I'll do a video on this stuff. I have 6 pages of notes on the new transfer, on the new this and that and everything else in between. But I can't wait to upload this video, and I can't wait for everybody to see my thoughts on this reboot. So, as the old saying goes, I'm signing off. Keep it spinning. Talk to you later, guys. Have a good morning. Bye-bye.